Prince Andrew has walked away from royal duties for the foreseeable future, but should he also walk away from his royal title? In a statement, the Duke of York says the controversy surrounding his ill-judged association with the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein has caused major disruption to the royal family's work. The Prince categorically denies allegations he had sex with a then 17-year-old Virginia Roberts, who was allegedly procured for him by Epstein, who killed himself in jail while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. But the scandal escalated after Andrew did an interview with the BBC. British journalist and commentator Louise Mensch says the Prince's departure from royal duties is not enough.
Big wow. I mean, nobody knows what he does anyway. He is not exactly the world's hardest working member of the royal family. And if he thinks that this is going to cut it in terms of a penance, he's very much mistaken.
So what would it take?
I think that he should ask the Queen, his mother, to issue letters patent, removing his title, removing the title of the Duke of York, and pretty much removing his Royal Highness title as well. I don't think somebody who has been friends with a paedophile for as long as he has and still hasn't apologised for what he did can seriously remain a member of the royal family. Prince Andrew is a Vice Admiral of the Royal Navy right now. And the other thing he's got to do is immediately resign from that position.
The thing is, though, people will say, some people, that he hasn't been charged with anything. He's not guilty of anything at this point in the eyes of the law. Why should he be punished for the actions of someone else who was found guilty?
Because, as you rightly say, Epstein was found guilty in the eyes of the law, and Andrew doesn't have to have committed a crime himself directly for this to be true. However, I think what's coming down the pipe is going to be even worse, if you can imagine it, than what is out there now. The reason people want him to talk to the FBI is the rumours are very strong over here in America, in the United States, that they have discovered more evidence on Prince Andrew. But even if there was nothing else there, if there was no other contact with women, this is a man who has insulted and called a liar Virginia Roberts, who's in that famous photograph with him. He's insulted Epstein's victims. He hasn't apologised. He just cannot continue as a member of the royal family and as even ceremonial as an admiral in the Royal Navy. He is bringing shame and disgrace on Britain and indeed everywhere where he is a prince.
Who do you think's behind today's move, this statement, this stepping aside of royal duties? Do you think he's done it of his own free will?
Definitely not. I think the Queen's press people probably went to her and said, "We're really sorry, Your Majesty, but this is just not going to do it." And also, of course, you've had a flood of people that sponsor various charities where he is a patron saying we will not sponsor them anymore while Prince Andrew is involved. So he's basically jumping before he's pushed. He's stepping back from these so-called royal duties because if he doesn't, all these charities are going to kick him out. And he doesn't want the shame and embarrassment. It's not real remorse. It's that he doesn't want the shame and embarrassment of people saying you're not our patron anymore. And that's why he's done it.
So you don't believe that his contrition is genuine? He writes, "I continue to unequivocally regret my ill-judged association with Jeffrey Epstein." Goes on to say, "I can only hope in time," referring to the victims, "that they will be able to rebuild their lives." You don't think he is genuine in his concern?
That's not an apology. That's not an apology, is it? I regret it. My ill-judged association. No, it was wrong. He was a convicted paedophile when you went to stay with him. It was flat wrong, and then what you did to the victims of re-victimising them and then talking about them as though you don't care about them and you're the world's most honourable man has only made it worse. It's added insult to injury. So, no, I mean, he hasn't even said sorry, and even if he did say sorry, none of us would believe him.
So what's your feeling? Do people care about this? People who don't care about the royal family, do they care about Prince Andrew and the allegations swirling around him?
I think absolutely everybody cares about paedophilia, whether or not you are the world's most ardent Republican and like Prince who, it doesn't matter. The fact is, this is the guy who sucks up to a convicted paedophile who stayed at his house, for 4 days and then called one of his victims, with whom the guy was photographed, a liar. That person can't be in a position of responsibility, even a ceremonial position of responsibility in a Western democracy, whether you are into the royal family or not. I don't know, I have to say up himself. He's very concerned about his title and his honorifics and calling himself Royal Highness and so forth. That title needs to go. The Queen has absolute right over titles. She can issue something called letters patent and she can take it away. And as difficult as it will be for her to do that to her own son, whom she obviously loves, the Queen has always put her country first and her duty first. And I think she's going to have to in this case as well.
British journalist and commentator Louise Mensch.